we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes. And if you're logging on, please share. Please share. What's up, Dexter? Already tuning in. Go ahead and share, man.
Yeah, make sure you log in. When you log in, that you share and like. This is going to be a hot topic tonight. Lindsay. Hi, Thelonious. How are you? Haven't talked to you in a while.
And just to let you all know in advance, we got 2 phones going on, so you see us moving. We're not being crazy. We're just trying to show love to everybody. That's it. We have an amazing topic for today. I'm so excited about this topic because we all have been in this. We all have felt this.
Definitely.
This is an experience that we all have gone through multiple times. And those of you just tuning in, we're going to get started in just 1 minute. And while you're waiting, we're just asking that you can just give us a like if you can hear us okay. And please share the video for someone that can see it.
Like and share, please. It says bring them on camera. Okay, can you hear us well? Can you hear us?
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Dominique Bond. I'm the founder and CEO of Ace Ambition, and we help young people understand how to identify their gifts and how to monetize their gifts and how to build wealth. I'm actually an empowerment speaker and a life coach as well. And I'm here with a special person, a good friend of mine. We've done a few things with each other in church and working with the youth in some other areas as well. And I'm just excited. I just had to reach out to Tara. And I love reaching out to people that I just want to reach out to and really work with. And Tara is one of those good people. And on top of all that, I just think Tara is somebody that other people need to know about as well. So I love to shine light on people who are doing some great things. So Tara, tell everybody about yourself.
I'm excited as well, Dominique. You know, I've talked to you several times. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to share. You know, I'm one that I love to share. But I'm a transformational life coach. I've been life coaching, maybe about 10 years now. I've been a certified Christian life coach. I recently graduated with my counseling degree.
Congratulations.
So
again.
Now I'm a counseling coach. I'm a counseling coach.
So you do got that education background.
I have that education behind it, yes. And I do what I love. Right. I got the education, you know, because that's a passion. I love to see and help people grow and be the best person that they can be. So it's just, and that's what I do. I've been doing it. Now I have the education, the certification, to say, hey, I can actually do it.
Exactly. And that's key. That's key. You're not just doing it just because you can do it. You're actually doing it because you have a passion for it, and you do have the education, the credentials as well. That's excellent. So this is a great topic. Those who do not know the topic is, what do you do when you feel stuck?
Wow.
We all have been there. All of us have been there. We all have felt that sense. We all had that sense of feeling when we felt stuck. We didn't know what to do. We're frustrated, confused. We feel like nothing else will go right for us, and we just on that verge of just thinking, you know what? I just had enough. I done spent enough money. I didn't reached out to enough people. I already done my part, and ain't nothing working out for me. I'm not getting any results. So, Tara, I mean, what's going on with this topic? I mean, why is this topic important for people?
Because when you get stuck, you're frustrated. Unmet expectations cause anxiety, depression, and frustration.
Oh, well, yes, it do. Yes, it do.
So when we get stuck, it's because we have unmet expectations. Mm-hmm. And we feel an array of emotions.
Right.
You know, we feel like, okay, you know, how did I get here? You know, I'm frustrated. You know, some people actually go into depression.
Right.
You know, they go into a depression because it's like a never-ending cycle. Mm-hmm. Because when we talk about being stuck, it's not just I'm stuck one time. You know, it's I've repeatedly gotten myself here.
Right.
So, and how did I get here?
Right.
You know, those unmet expectations. We excited about something, it's working right, and then all of a sudden, bam, you hit a wall.
Exactly.
And what do you do? What do you do with those emotions?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so people are, and people of all ages, you know, and I know for myself, Dominique, I've been stuck so many times. I think I could write a book on how not to be stuck.
That might be a book.
You know,
that's a good book. Right
because I've been stuck so many times because of unmet expectations.
Right.
You know, you have a great idea, you have a passion, and everything's going well, and then bam, it just hits the wall, or the bottom falls out. And you're like, what did I do wrong? How did I get here? So when we're talking about those emotions and those feelings and those thoughts that surround those emotions, right, it can be chaotic for us. It can be life-threatening for us because some people just give up. You know, some people just give up. So, and when we're talking about how to not be stuck, mm-hmm, it's a process.
It is. Because
you have to get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get there first to say, okay. And then for some of us, I'm one of those reoccurring offenders. You know, I'm a reoccurring offender. It
right,
takes me a couple of times to get stuck to say, mm-hmm, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly.
So with that, you have to understand what it is. And my thing is, you know how you have keys when you lose your keys? Mm-hmm. We always do a rewind, backtrack. When you're stuck, you have to backtrack.
Right.
You have to backtrack to the place when you were not stuck.
Mm-hmm.
When everything was going right, you had everything was going smooth. You have to backtrack. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us don't want to backtrack because when we backtrack, a lot of those negative emotions, right, flare up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for today, like she just said, we're gonna teach people how to get unstuck. Mm-hmm. We really want this to be a productive video for everyone else because we know there's multiple people who are currently feeling this way or used to feel this way, and there's going to be another time when you will feel stuck. Mm-hmm. So hopefully you got your notepad, you have your pen, and you really are documenting these things because we want you to understand what to do when you feel this way. Yeah. And we're gonna go over a few tips. We're gonna go back and forth, and we're gonna feed off of each other, and we just hopefully you all can get something from this. But I'm gonna go. My first point is going into pretty much what she was saying, and I think when we feel this way, I think we have to pause for a minute. I think it's very important to pause, and I'm really teaching people to get in the habit of pausing. Whether you're pursuing something, whether it's your platform, it's your business, it's even a relationship, whatever the case may be, just take a minute to pause because sometimes things can be going a little bit too fast for you, and sometimes we can lose track. Mm-hmm. So when you pause, now you're giving yourself time to collect yourself. Now you're giving yourself time to collect your thoughts and understand what are you really thinking. Mm-hmm. Because really when you're feeling this way, understand that it's really a feeling. Yeah. It's not necessarily reality. So when you understand this is a feeling, then you understand this is just temporary. Yeah. It's just temporary. Now, the choice is yours. I mean, if you want to make it something that's going to remain that way, or you're going to say, you know what, this is a temporary feeling and I can do something to get myself out of this feeling or whatever process that I'm in. So I really want people to really understand, why are you feeling this way? I like to just develop a questionnaire for myself. Mm-hmm. Why am I feeling this way? What influenced me to feel this way? Because when you really take time out to really question yourself, and this is really one of the main reasons why people hire a coach. This is what a coach do. Yes. We just questioning you. Certain things that you just don't think about questioning yourself. Mm-hmm. These are things you have to think about questioning for yourself. Another thing is what caused this feeling. Yeah. So when you're able to identify these things and acknowledge it, now you're able to finally start addressing it. It's very, very important for us to acknowledge, or first identify and acknowledge the problem so we can address it. Yeah. If we don't identify the problem, then we're just going to keep having the problem. It's just going to keep being a recurring thing. So understand, real quick, understand that this is a feeling. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we get caught up in our emotions, like we always say, and that feeling is temporary. And understand that just because you are feeling that way does not mean that is reality. And go through a list of questions for yourself. Pause for a minute. Just because you are pausing in that moment does not mean that you're not going to accomplish your goal. Does not mean you're going to be behind. Mm-hmm. If you're not doing something right, you're going to be behind anyways. So you may as well just pause for a minute and make sure what you're processing right now, make sure you understand what you're processing, and make sure you identify what is the problem.
Yeah. I like what you said. You get wrapped up in our emotions and our
right.
feelings. And what we have to understand is our thoughts regulate our emotions. Mm-hmm. Our thoughts regulate our emotions.
Yes, it
and
does.
Our emotions regulate our behaviors.
Right.
So if we can change our thoughts, we'll change our emotions, mm-hmm. and the behavior will change.
Exactly.
So what happens is a lot of times, Dominique, when we get stuck, it's because something happened, mm-hmm. and we had a negative thought that produced a negative feeling, and then we become stuck.
Right.
Unmet expectations. Mm-hmm. Those unmet expectations. So we have to really, you have to pause. I call it backtrack, and I call it, hey, go look for your keys. Backtrack to the point where I was good.
Right.
And you have to understand that when you become stuck, it's not just one thing. Mm-hmm. It could be people, it could be places, it could be your passion, but we allow things to infiltrate our space that's passionate,
right?
But it's not part of your purpose.
Rewind that.
It's passionate, mm-hmm. but it's not part of your purpose.
Right.
And so we get passionate about some things, and we cause those things or people to infiltrate us, and we're passionate, but it's not part of our purpose. So when it's not part of our purpose, it's kind of like, and I used this analogy the other day when I was sharing with someone. Our journey is a smooth road. Mm-hmm. When you have when you walking out your path, your purpose, your passions or whatever, right. It's a smooth road. On some roads, you'll see there's a sign that says trucks that weigh over a certain amount, they can't ride on that road. Right. Because what happens is it causes the asphalt to get lumps and dumps and cracks in it. So when you're traveling, it's more wear and tear on the car. It mm-hmm. breaks it down faster because right. the road is not smooth. So in our life, what happens is we cause people to infiltrate. Right. Passion, maybe passionate about it. Hey, Dominique, I know you work with youth. Can you come over here and help me with this and this? Hey, that's a passion of yours, right. But it's not part of your purpose. Mm. So you get stuck over here working mm-hmm. with some people doing something passion, mm-hmm. but it's not part of your purpose.
Definitely been in that.
And then what happens? You get stuck. You're like, well, how did I get here? How did I get here again? Right. So we have to kind of backtrack and know what triggers us. We know, hey, that's a passion of mine. Understand that. Right. Great. But is it part of my purpose? Right. And then we get wrapped up because, hey, it's a passion. We confuse passion with purpose. And we have those unmet expectations. Then we're like, oh, wow, how did I get here? Because what happens is it starts pulling on us. Right. It starts pulling on us emotionally. And then once it starts pulling on you emotionally, after a while, even though it was a passion of yours, you become drained. Very. You get drained fast, and you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. How did I get here? Mm-hmm. How did I allow myself to get here? And once you get there, then you're like, hey, then it's like, I'm going to put everything down. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put everything down. And then once you do that, then you feel like a lot of times we're going back to those feelings. Now I feel like I failed. Exactly. I feel like I let you down. Mm-hmm. I feel like I came short here. And then those thoughts again, we start, letting those thoughts resonate in our mind, and then we start feeling down about it. Mm-hmm. And then there we go, we stuck. Where do I go from here? Exactly. How did I get here? So we really have to just backtrack and understand what's the cycle for me. Because because we're creatures of habit, and we are designed to be adaptable. Mm-hmm. And we can adapt to things, good or bad. Right. Good or bad. So what happens is we have to understand what's going to be my triggers. What are some things that I usually do that will cause me to get stuck?
Yeah.
Who are some people that I usually let me in my life that cause me to get stuck? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. I think that question, what are my triggers, is something I've been hearing. Somebody else use that a lot, but we have to understand what our triggers are. What I find myself doing for a lot of clients is really just going through the SMART acronym.
Right.
Yes. And it's that M. Y'all know what the M stands for in SMART. it stands for measurable.
Yeah.
And many of us, I see this a lot, and it kind of, it's a pet peeve of mine, because I understand that people are going to end up being frustrated. But these broad goals that we set for ourselves, I want to lose weight, or I want my goal is to be happy, or happier, or I just want to do more things that's best for me, or so forth and so forth. And the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I'm just very, very, very frustrated when I'm seeing people's goals come on. Like, it sounds good, y'all. It sounds so good, but unfortunately, you're just gonna hit a wall. You're gonna hit something where it's like things are just not so clear. But for one, if your goals are not measurable, and there's other things as well, but I'm just gonna concentrate on the M. Yeah. If your goals are not measurable, it's gonna be so difficult for you to track your progress. It's going to be so difficult to track your results. So if you have those goals, and that's why I tell people about these vision boards, they are excellent. Excellent. I think it's so important for you to visualize visualize what you're striving for, visualize your desires, to every day, every morning, every night, to always see what you're striving for. I think that's very, very important. But sometimes those pictures, those words are a little too broad. Sometimes a little too broad. And I still tell people, implement the vision board, but you're going to have to get that notepad. Yeah. You're going to have to write. You're going to have to plan. I always tell people, you're not writing, you're not planning.
That's right.
And if you're not planning, you're planning for failure. It is just that simple. Yes. Are your goals measurable? And you can tell, because you should be able to track your progress. So sometimes we feel stuck, and like I said, it's not always reality. It's just that you don't know how far you actually came. Some of us accomplish a whole lot, but we're just so focused on that end point. We're so focused on the end point, and we're not focused on the task that helps you obtain that goal. Every goal consists of several tasks that's going to help you reach that goal. So I love a task list, because at the end of the day, I want to feel like I actually done something in my life. And that's why that works for me. Other people, this don't work out for them. But I got to be able to know, okay, by the end of the day, I accomplished this. I love scratching off those tasks. It makes me feel real, real good. And I know that, you know what? Today was a productive day. Yeah. Because I done scratched off at least half of the things that I put on my task list. So, all those goals that you have, ask yourself, are they measurable? Can you track your progress? If you can't, I really advise you to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, how do I know that I'm going in the right direction? How do I know that I'm one step closer? How do I know? Because this is encouraging. It's encouraging to know that, you know what? I'm getting closer. Yeah. I'm getting closer. Oh, my goal is to make more money. I mean, yeah, we can see that we made more money, but I mean, it's let's have something that we can measure. Are you trying to make $5,000 more this year? Are you trying to make $10,000 more this year? Are you just trying to make $500 a month more this year? Whatever the case may be, get you some numbers, get something that you can measure, and I promise you, you'll be able to better track your progress, and that's going to help you determine whether you really are stuck. Because sometimes we feel like we're stuck, but we're really not.
I'm glad you said that, because when we talk about that M and the SMART goals being measurable, and so many people have this, they want to. I tell people, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Right.
The goal is so huge, and they just want to gobble it up. You cannot eat an elephant just with one bite.
No.
You have to, break it up in bites. You have to have tasks. You have to have goals for the goal. But one thing I've learned is, even when we are making goals, when we are creating goals, when we have a goal, we have to have a why behind that goal. Because, and when I say a why, because a lot of people say, oh, I want to save money. Oh, I do want to lose weight. Well, I always ask, why? Because, I used to smoke cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes when I was in 7th grade. So I was kind of bad back then. So I started smoking cigarettes. And I stopped smoking cigarettes when I was 27 years old, completely. And my why was this. And I stopped. I made a decision. I said, I'm going to smoke my last cigarette. I was doing hair. Then I had a hair show. I did a platform work, and I was on the way to Barbados to do a hair show. And I said, I'm going to smoke my last cigarette on the way to Atlanta, because I don't want to smoke anymore.
Right.
Now, of course, people say, oh, I want to stop. I want to stop smoking, or I need to stop smoking. But I always ask the why behind it. Because, see, our needs and our wants, they don't always match up. We know we don't need to smoke because it's bad for your health. But we want to smoke because we addicted to nicotine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when people are talking about losing weight or making their goals, I always ask them, what's the why? Why do you want to do it? Don't just tell me, oh, because I want to be smaller. Why? I want to save money. Why?
Right.
And when we understand the why behind it, we have a better understanding of, okay, this is why I want to do it. So it helps me reach my goal. And it helps me stay on task because I know why.
Exactly.
I want to lose weight. I want to save money. I want to get married. I want to build a house. Why is it? Not because I just want to, lose weight to get in a size 10. What's your reason for getting a size 10? Because you'll get there, and then what happens? You be back at a 16.
Exactly.
Because you don't know the why behind you. What's your why? So we have to know our reason for doing it, because once we have that focal point is that why, Dominique. That why is what drives us. We talked about having a vision board. That vision board is that why. Why do I want this? Why is it important to me? And once we answer that question, it makes that M reality.
Right.
It makes that being that goal, that measurable goal, more real, and it's more likely that we're able to obtain it. Because we understand. Most people just do stuff off the rip. Oh, it sounds good. I heard Dominique say, I'm going to start saving money. Well, so why do you want to save money? You know what I'm saying? Well, people say, so I can have more money. So why do you need more money? What's the purpose of it? Because you have to have a purpose behind it. And so what happens is we get stuck because we don't understand the why. We don't understand the why, or we don't know why we doing. We just following the crowd.
Right.
Oh, that's popular now. That's cool to do. I want a new car. Why?
Right.
Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? So we have to understand. And that once we understand the deeper part, because, I kind of go a little bit deeper. Why do you want to do it?
Exactly.
What's your purpose for, I want to get married? Why? Why?
And it's a good question to ask.
Why do you want to get, I have people say, oh, I want to get married. Why do you want to get married? Because I'm getting old. people get married at 50, 60, 70, 90 years old. I mean, age has nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? What's the reason that you want to do what you want to do?
Right.
What's the reason that, you and I are doing what we want to do? We know the why behind why we want to do, because that's what drives us.
Right.
That why is what drives you. And a lot of people never sit and ask themselves those questions. They just live. They just function. They never stop and just let me sit down with myself and find out why I want to do this. And once you understand it, it drives you. That why will drive you. And then understanding those triggers, so you don't it's less likely for you to get stuck when you know that why. Because when you see things that start coming to you, people, things, opportunities that's not connected to that why, it'll be easy for you to say, hey, this is not for me. Great opportunity. Sounds great, looks great.
May not be great for me.
May not be great for me because it's not with my why.
Right.
Yeah.
And asking that question also helps you understand whether it's really for you. I mean, once you start asking yourself that question, you may say, you know what, I'll probably waste a lot of time trying to structure this goal.
Yeah.
But another point that I really want to make is understanding that it's okay if you need to make a few adjustments. Sometimes we don't really realize that we've been doing the same thing over and over again. It's something that we've been accustomed to. We have habits, and some of this stuff is kind of stems from things that happened to us in the past, even in our childhood, that we've been doing over and over again, even in relationships. We end up realizing, I've been getting with the same person all this time. But this is my thing. When you're making a goal, especially you make a goal in the beginning of the year, understand that our mindsets change. We have new experiences. Sometimes our perspective changes, and that can be a good thing. And understand that during this time, you may have to change up some things because you may have new desires, you may have new interests, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we think, and this is something I hear from my clients, sometimes we think if we're changing things up, that we're actually changing the whole thing. And that's not necessarily the case. You still pretty much have the same goal, but you probably got a different process. You're probably taking different steps because the steps that you were taking are just not working. So when you start to analyze these things, and this is all process. All we're talking about is a process, and we just don't get the process right. And these are pretty basic things, but we pretty much get some basic things wrong sometimes, and that's fine. But we have to, like I said before, we have to pause, and we have to understand that, am I doing the same thing over and over again? Because if I'm doing the same thing over and over again, that's probably why you're still getting the same results. And if you're getting the same results, you're going to have to ask yourself, what can I do differently? And that's fine. It's okay to adjust your goals. It's okay to go back to that vision board that you did several months ago and think and ask yourself, do I still want that? Or, what, should that be a little higher? I say I want to make $10,000 more, but should I push it up to $15,000 or $20,000? I said I want to go here, but maybe I should, go overseas instead of just always trying to go in the States or whatever the case may be. So really just ask yourself, you got to make some adjustments. Yeah. Do I have to make some adjustments, and what adjustments do I have to make? Because time is money. We always say that, but time is very valuable. You can't get that time back. So it's okay if you have to go back to the drawing board and adjust your plan. It's okay if you have to adjust your plan. It's okay if things change up. It's okay if you have new interests and new desires. But if you realize these things, make sure you're making these adjustments.
That's really good. And people get afraid because they don't want to change. They don't want to adjust. And if I change, what are people going to say?
Exactly.
We get afraid. Fear holds us back from doing a lot of things. If I change now, because when we start walking out our process, Dominique, we realize, hey, my value, my thinking may change a little bit.
Right.
My vision, maybe I'm able to see it a little clearer. So what I originally thought, and it's not what I really want.
Exactly.
And it's okay to be adjustable. It's okay to say, hey, I got to tweak this here, I got to tweak that there, because that's part of the process. Mm-hmm. That's part of it, and to be okay with it. But what happens, I see a lot of times, we just get so set in stone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we get so set in stone.
It's got to go this way.
It's got to go this way. Unmet expectations. And when it does not go this way, we just like, oh, wow, I'm just, you know.
I ain't trying to hear it.
Right. It's got to go this way. No, it doesn't have to go that way. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you take a left and then a right and then another left and then come back, maybe that's the way you need it to go instead of just trying to go straight. Because you may learn something when you detour. You know, you may grow when you detour. It may, what you were trying to do that you thought was going to take 2 years, it may take you 4 years. Yeah. But what's the growth in that? You know, what's the connections that you will make during that time? So you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to say, hey, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I know this is my goal. But let yourself be flexible enough to, you know, adjust.
Exactly. I'm enjoying this time. I'm really, really enjoying this. I think we can go on this all day. But we don't want to hold y'all too long though. But Todd, you wanna talk on anything else?
Well, have we been talking 30 minutes? Oh wow! I tell you, yes, it went by really fast.
It did.
Well, you know, Dominique, I have some events that's coming up. And it's getting stuck with, this is February. Mm-hmm. This is the month. Everybody's in love. People going to get engaged. People going to get recommitted. So I decided to have an event, a date night event.
Oh.
I'm having a date night event. February the 23rd at the Painted Lady on Telfair Street. And I said, well, let me do something different, because you have people that's been married for a while. And I've been married, I'm divorced. And I learned a lot, and I do a lot of couples counseling. Mm-hmm. So I tell people I have like a 95% success rate if you implement the tools.
Right.
Because what we don't know hurts us.
Yeah.
We just think, oh, I'm in love. Well, love is not always enough. Mm-hmm. You know, you need more than love. You need to understand personality. You need to know the purpose. And I said that earlier. So at the event, I'm going to, you know, kind of teach people and couples, you know, the importance of having a mission for your marriage. That's that why.
Yeah.
The purpose of having a motto. The importance of having a motto for your marriage. I'm going to give them some tools to help them build their marriage and build that communication level to where they can, you know how we always say, I want to be married to my best friend. Mm-hmm. Then what old people say, I can be butt naked in front of them. I mean, really butt naked emotionally in front of them. We want that type of relationship.
Exactly.
You know, we don't want to just see about it on television, and we want that relationship, and you can have it. But it's gonna take work, and you have to know the tools. So I'm giving people those tools so that you can have that relationship that, hey, you know, Dominique, you got on my nerves today. Mm-hmm. And it's okay that I can say you got on my nerves today, and we're not speaking, you know, for 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So I'm having that event. So, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about, you know, what God is doing. And the things that, you know, the connections, you know, you and I, we've talked for a while, the connections that he's bringing, and just the great things that he's doing in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Because we a lot of times confine things to the church. You know, we confine our gifts and our talents to the church, and the people in church don't need it. It's the people that's not in church that need the information. Yeah. So I'm excited with it.
And I think it's good that you're able to, you know, the importance of reaching people where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's so important. And some people, you know, based upon what they're going through, they just don't feel like being preached to. And that's fine.
I don't feel like being preached to.
Exactly. Some people just want to. Some people just want. Some people just want to talk to. Just talk to me before you just a whole bunch of scriptures to me.
Wow.
Just talk to me for a minute. I just want to have a conversation.
That's it.
You know, that's. And
don't tell me God is gonna work it out. I already know that, but give me something else.
There's something else. You got anything else coming up?
Well, in March I'm having a coffee, tea, or me It's a coffee, tea, or
Tommy,
me.
you just got everything going on.
We have a coffee, tea, or me event coming up at University of Phoenix, and that's for anybody. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about the 4 relationship killers. We're going to be talking about effective communication. We're going to be talking about the difference in male and female, how we communicate with each other, the love languages, so that everybody wants, and that why again, because I always go back to that why. Yeah. So I'm going to be talking and sharing and giving people tools, that people that are married, single, that want to be married, so that the divorce rate is so high. Yeah. My purpose is to help bring that divorce rate back down.
Awesome.
You know, to teach people, hey, just don't get married. And if you're married, because, you know, we have this mentality now that one little issue, I want to go to divorce court. I want a divorce. Nobody wants to work anything out. Right. You know, I just can't take it anymore. Well, you hadn't taken anything yet. You know what I'm saying?